Okay, hello everyone. I've got pleasure in opening the council briefing of the 2nd September 2025 at 6 p.m. and welcome all those in attendance. The City of Vincent would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and we pay our respects to elders past and present, acknowledging that as the City of Vincent, we have a role to play in working towards reconciliation and justice for First Nations people. Now, I've got two approved leaves of absence. I've got one from Councillor Warner and one from Councillor Wolf, and I've got an apology from Councillor Wallace. I haven't received any further apologies. Perhaps Councillor Alexander will be joining us soon. Okay, so I am just going to refer over to members of the public. Is there anyone that wishes to speak? Okay, all you need to do is come forward and say your name and the suburb in which you reside, which item you want to ask questions about. And one of the councillors will follow up the questions. The purpose of this briefing is to simply inform and for us to get information about the agenda for next week. If you're limited to 3 minutes, and if you don't want to be recorded on the live stream, just tell us and we can stop the live stream. So if you'd like to come forward and just say your name, the suburb and which item you want to talk to.
Thank you, Mayor Zaman, and thank you, councillors, and thank you, the executive, for this opportunity to speak at the briefing. My name is Greg Johnson, and my agenda item is 5.1, a change of use from hotel to tavern licence. My business and my capacity here is the owner of 141, the premises, and I also am the operator of Treadway Shoe Store, a 77-year-old trading business in Mount Hawthorn, which is the longest shoe store trading in Western Australia on the same site, better or worse. Okay, that's who I am and what I'm here tonight for. Okay, councillors, this item is quite important in the sense that it's about a change of use. Basically, it involves the Paddington Hotel making an application to the council initially first to change its use from what is a hotel licence to a tavern licence. The consequences of that is that they can then sell takeaway packaged liquor, which they currently can't. That is significant. And in doing so, they may have to give up their occupation, that is the rooms that they have as a hotel. Just to give you a quick bit of background, the Paddington Hotel was established without a liquor licence because it had a hotel licence more than some 20 years ago. Neil Randall came to me as the adjacent property owner at the time and said, I'd like to have a packaged liquor licence. If I lease it and make an application on your place, I can get a takeaway liquor licence and run both jointly, and that's what happened. Subsequent to that, Neil went out of business and the hotel was purchased from the original owners by some new people now who own it and have leased it out. They don't run it themselves. They came to me and asked me if I would sell them the licence and the premises about 2 months ago. I said I'd think about it, but I have a tenant who may or may not be here tonight. It's now Porter's Liquor. So it's a middle to upmarket liquor store. That's the background to it. They've clearly decided that it might be cheaper just to make an application to the licensing court and to council to get a change of use, and then they can just go and sell packaged liquor. Very simple. And so what the consequences of that will be is we don't have any more amenity than we've already got in the precinct. We've got about 11 takeaway liquor outlets in the immediate vicinity and about 20 within 10 kilometres. Within next door to them, Porters exist. Over the road is in the supermarket at Woolworths, BWS. Down the road at Green Street, further down Scarborough Reach. There's 4 within a kilometre. So if this is an addition there too to the amenity and to the better use of land use, so be it. I don't think it is. I think that the precinct won't be any better off. It's just swapping one for the other. Ultimately, the viability of the tenant who's now got Porters will come under question. He's already struggling. You're well aware of the difficulties in the liquor business. So that's the issue. Is it a better use of the land? Is it a better place-making opportunity? I don't think it is. I don't think the council or the city of Vincent or the community is any better off by having another liquor licence when they've already got as many as they need. That's the issue, but there's a big issue in the loss of the meeting rooms upstairs in the hotel and the loss of potential rooms for tourists, etc., etc. Not that they're great, but they could be a lot better. That's the issue tonight. I think that's the question I've got is to the councillors, will the City of Vincent and the ratepayers and the members of the precinct be any better off by going to the hotel and buying their liquor there, or as it exists now, buying from the adjacent property or the other properties that are well within the vicinity? That's the question. Is it a better land use?
Okay, thank you very much. That's your 3 minutes up. I gave you a bit of leeway.
Thank you.
That's all right. Okay, thank you very much. Now, I can't see that there's anybody else to address at the moment. Okay, so all right, we're able to pick up that matter. Okay, I'm closing public question time now at 6 minutes past 6. Governance Manager, can you confirm if any statements have been received?
Yes, through you, Mayor Zaman, we have received written questions and statements from Venetia Goyle of Mount Hawthorn in relation to item 5.1 and Mary Cropley of Mount Lawley in relation to item 5.2. These have been circulated to all council members.
That's Acting CEO. Do you have any declarations of interest that need to be declared?
Through you, Mayor Zaman, no declarations of interest received.
Okay, so Councillor LaFontaine, do you have any items that you wish to ask questions of? Okay, Councillor Castle.
Just 5.1, thank you.
Yep, already had 5.1. Councillor Greer. Councillor Hallett.
5.3, thank you.
5.3. Okay, then, so I'm going to move first to 5.1, number 141 Scarborough Beach Road, Mount Hawthorn, proposed change of use from hotel to tavern. Councillor Castle.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few questions and I'll pick up the questions from the gallery as well. Just interested in the need for this change of use. I don't know who I should be directing my questions to, whoever wants to answer. And I think initially, what's the impetus for this change of use application?
Through you, Mayor Zaman. Yes, sure. Sorry, is that echoing? No? Oh, it's just my ears. Sorry. So the need for this change of use had come from an order from Department of Racing, Gaming, Liquor, and it was following an inspection that they had undertaken at the premises, where ultimately they've got a hotel license at the moment, but they don't use the accommodation component, which is located upstairs in the premises, and haven't done so for some time. So with the new operators on board, since that they undertook that inspection, and the operators confirmed they would not be reinstating that accommodation, they issued an order that they would need to convert to a tavern licence. So the only difference between a hotel licence and a tavern licence is the provision of accommodation. So for a hotel, you must provide accommodation, but you can still sell packaged liquor on and off site, which is the same for a tavern. So it's just essentially the same operation, but it is correcting the liquor license.
Thank you. So if they were to continue with the hotel license for whatever reason, for example, if council didn't approve this change of use or if it was withdrawn or something like that, what options would they have? They would have to reinstate the accommodation?
Through Mayor Zaman, that would be a potential option, but it's likely that they would certainly appeal the decision through the tribunal.
Thank you. And just around the packaged liquor, can you just explain the requirement or the ability to serve to sell packaged liquor off-site? Does that require a different part of the premises or a separated part of the premises?
Through you, Mayor Zaman, for the purposes of considering this planning application, no. So if under their current hotel land use or under the tavern land use, they could introduce takeaway liquor, like getting it packaged and taking it off-site, but it would potentially impact their liquor licensing. I'm not sure the process that they would need to go through. That would be a separate approval pathway through racing gaming liquor.
Okay, thank you. And there were some questions around the amenity impact of this change, and just leaving aside the issue about whether this change actually represents more options to sell packaged liquor. Is that something that the number of businesses that can already do that in the area, is that something that can be a consideration?
Through you, Ms. Amon, in short, no, not part of the planning application. That's something that is considered through the liquor licensing process, where they need to undertake a public interest assessment, and that considers amenity impacts and antisocial behaviour and the impact of sale of liquor. So that's a separate process. Under the application before us, which is considering the appropriateness of the tavern use and the amenity impact from that use, such as car parking, noise, antisocial behaviour, and just general comings and goings. Ultimately, it's going to operate exactly the same as it was approved in 2004. So there's no increase in intensity or change to car parking arrangements. So we're ultimately satisfied that the amenity impact to the surrounding area is acceptable.
Just one more, just in relation to that amenity consideration, how does that intersect with our public health plan when you're talking about sale of liquor?
Through you, Ms. Amon, in the consideration of this application, we've put quite significant weighting on the site history of the consideration of the land use, that this is a long-term established licensed premises that has been operating in the town centre, as well as balancing that with other matters under the relevant planning framework.
Councillor Hallett.
Thank you. Just one follow-up along the similar lines, but from one of the questions that was submitted by email to council. The question was, given the city's stated objective to promote tourism and diverse land use, how does approving this application align with these goals? And so I'm just wondering if you can talk to how do other kind of principles within planning objectives and our scheme more broadly relate to this specific application?
Through you, Ms. Amon, that certainly is an objective that is identified also within the district centre. So we do acknowledge that. In terms of the provision of accommodation, that's no longer in the business model for the Paddington Hotel. But on balance, there's also objectives around the provision of a diverse range of hospitality operations in the town centre, which this contributes to. So while there is the removal of that accommodation aspect, the land use as a whole is still positively contributing to the town centre and meets the objectives of the district centre zone.
Are there any further questions in relation to this item? Okay, so I note that there were questions that arose from 5.2, and so those that will be addressed in the notes, the briefing notes for next week. Is that correct? Just confirming.
Yes, through you, Mayor Simon. Any questions that can't be answered this evening can be included in the briefing notes.
Okay, so I'm going to move to 5.3. Then, which is the annual reviews 24-25 Accessible City Strategy, Thriving Places Strategy and Arts Plan. Councillor Hallett.
Thank you, and happy for this to be in the briefing notes or said now, but you may need to look up something. I just wanted to ask about the Lincoln Place guidelines and just a general sense of the timeline for completing that as a project. And then connected to that, at least in my head, is the wayfinding strategy and just an update on kind of where that's at in terms of finalisation and then rollout.
Through you, Mayor Zaman, the Lincoln Place guidelines are still under review internally. So we're looking to finalise those in 2025-26. And that's also going to be integrated into the major review of the Accessible City Strategy going forward, which is also underway this financial year. And the wayfinding strategy, it is very echoey. The final design has been confirmed. So there's 74 or 75 different signs, and we had to make sure all the arrows were pointing in the right direction and all the spelling was correct. And we'll be undertaking procurement in the this financial year to fabricate and install those signs in the town centre.
Greer.
Thank you, Mayor Zamon, and also likely one for the briefing notes. I was just hoping we could get a bit more information on the actions in the arts plan that have either been delayed or not started for this year, particularly 6.1, 7.2 and 7.3, please.
Sorry, let me write those
That's
down.
right.
6.1,
6.1, 7.2 and 7.3. Thanks.
through you, Mayor Zamon, will provide an answer in the briefing notes.
Are there any further questions in relation to this item? Okay. So I thank the public and live stream viewers, and I close the meeting at 6:15. Thanks.